Hello engineers, in this video we will use the starting template of Azure DevOps in order to create our first CI/CD pipeline. After that, we will enrich the basic template to include more features based on Azure DevOps best practices. If you enjoy my content, make sure you subscribe on my channel. In order to create our first CI/CD pipeline in Azure DevOps, we will need first to have our Azure DevOps project in place. When we have that, we can go under the Pipelines tab and then press the button New Pipeline. When we press the new pipeline, we must select where our source code is located. This depends whether you use GitHub or Azure DevOps Git in order to store your code, but in our case we will use the default Azure Repos Git as a solution in order to store our source code inside our DevOps project. Then we will have to select the specific repository where we want to store our source code. When you create a new project inside Azure DevOps, then a default repository is created with the name of this particular DevOps project. The one for my case is called the ADO intro. So I will use this repository in order to store my code. And then we have a bunch of templates that we can use as a starting template. As you can see, there is a starter template located there, and this is the minimal example pipeline that you can use in order to start your automations. We will use this template and then we will have the code ready in order to getting started. We will now go through the basic sections of this pipeline. The first thing you can do is to change the name of the pipeline inside your Azure repository. You can leave the default name or change the name to a match appropriate based on your case. Then we can look for the code of the pipeline and explain the sections that are included. The first section is the trigger. The trigger in Azure Pipelines will indicate when your pipeline will run. For this particular case that the main branch is selected, this pipeline will run automatically when a push is performed on the main branch. Then we have the pull section, which indicate which agent will be used in order to run this pipeline. In this case, the Ubuntu latest is selected, so it indicates that it will select the latest Ubuntu agent that is available in Microsoft hosted pool. This is a predefined share pool that Microsoft provides in order for you to run your pipelines free, and we can use this agent in order to run our pipeline without having to install our software inside our infrastructure. The next section will be the steps that are included inside the pipeline. And those steps are the automation steps that will run when this pipeline is executed. So in this case, we have two steps inside this pipeline, and both steps, the first and the second one, are script tests. Script task will go and execute a script inside our selected agent. The first step will go and print a hello world message inside our agent, and the second one as well will go and print some output in the console. As you can see in the script task, the echo function is called in order to print some string in the output. Right now, in order to test our created automation, we will go and save this pipeline and press the run button. As you can see, when you create the first pipeline, you have the button save and run, and you can do both actions by once. Then we have our pipeline running, and as you can see, a job has created for this particular pipeline inside Azure Pipelines. When the pipeline finishes the execution, you can see the printed messages that appear on the output. In the first message, we change the text and we print our own name in the output. As we no longer need this pipeline, we will go and delete it, and we will see what happens in the deletion. You can select the deletion from the three dots menu, and when you delete this pipeline, you will be asked for the particular name in order to delete. When pressing the name, the pipeline will be deleted. However, by navigating in the repository, you can see that the file is still there. So in order to get rid of the whole pipeline, you will have also to delete the test pipeline YAML file. We will try now to enrich our first pipeline with also jobs and stages, which is a best practice in Azure DevOps. Jobs in Azure DevOps are used in order to organize more tasks grouped together, and a stage is a logical boundary in the pipeline. It can be used to mark a separation of concerns, for example, build QA production environments or different build units like front-end, back-end, etc. As you can see from the code, right now we have our stage which is called stage 1, and under this stage we have two particular jobs. The first job includes a script task inside, which also prints an output on the console, and the second job does the same for this particular pipeline. So now we have our stages, and under our stages we have our particular stage which includes two jobs. By using this method, we have our pipeline structure and also according to best practices in order our pipeline to be more modular and extensible. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know in the comments below if you have used the starter pipeline in Azure DevOps.